Back for nostalgia? We hear you. Before Wakanda, there was Zamunda.
Life, real life, a thing that we have been denied for far too long.
Coming to America turns 36 this year, and it is still one of the most memorable comedies Eddie Murphy ever did. What's not to love about it? This spoiled and charming young prince willingly decides to live in a slum. He broke out of his comfort zone for the sake of finding true love outside the royal privileges. Every moment more chaotic than the next. It is absolutely amazing how he found a woman who he genuinely loves, and she loved him back for the person that he is, not for the crown on his head. But there is more to the movie than meets the eye. You see, this was the first movie to reshape the perception people had about Africa. In every other Hollywood movie, we can see Africa being depicted as this poor land devastated by famine, bad infrastructure, and terrible living conditions. But this movie was the first time Americans got to see Black royalty, true Black luxury, the kind of wealth that can shift an entire culture. It was the very first time that we saw what Africa is and could be. It is very important for people to see Black opulence because we as a society need to understand that there are people on both sides of the money spectrum. And Africa is not what the mainstream media would like you to believe. This is quite uplifting, but there is more. The film is packed with valuable life lessons. If you take a closer look, you can see the depth of it. So let's get right into it. We are starting off our list with the first lesson. Lesson 1. Unearned leadership creates pleasers. Earned leadership creates believers.
When you think of garbage, think of Akeem.
Prince Akeem is born into royalty, right? He is born to be the heir to the throne. He has no one to oppose him. It is his birthright. The first thing any royal family would do is arrange a marriage. Someone who has been bred to rule by his side. But Akeem is not like everyone else. He wants to get to know the woman he is with. But the woman that was chosen for him is a she. She can't think for herself. She doesn't know how to be herself. This arranged girlfriend would do everything Akeem commands her to do without question, even sacrifice her own dignity. She has been conditioned, indoctrinated, and converted into this plaything molded for his earthly desires. When Akeem travels to Queens to find the woman of his dreams, he strips himself of his leadership, that proud upbringing. This is a lesson about humility and humble leadership, because in that simple moment when he says, "When you think of garbage, think of Akeem," you can see that unearned leadership creates pleasers and earned leadership creates believers. He takes on a job at a fast food restaurant to live a humble life. He shows a good work ethic and a very good demeanor. You see, back home, his entire country is mooning over him, trying to please him, but he has yet to earn Lisa's trust and attention. We can see the drastic change in his behavior because before he met her, he didn't even know how to tie his own shoes. When you earn your place, you boost your credibility. People start to believe in you. They want to follow you. Why? Because in their eyes, you become worthy. You show that you care about them, so they will stick by you every step of the way. Since Akeem hasn't worked a single day in his life, he learned how to climb the social ladder. There was no shortcut to getting Lisa. And for him, every small accomplishment and goal really mattered. He wanted to please her to get her attention. He does his garbage duties with pride and completely gives up on the entitled mentality, which is highly prevalent in any person born into luxury. He always has a smile on his face when he interacts with Lisa. He wants to make her laugh and tries to earn her respect instead of just demanding it. He genuinely wants what is best for her. Through his actions, Akeem is creating believers. These are the people who genuinely respect him and trust him, like when he uses intelligence, kindness, and humility to give Lisa advice, even if that advice may hurt him in the end. Simi also kind of starts to see Akeem shining. He sees the integrity, he sees motivation and inspiration, which are key qualities of a good leader. In the real world, how often do you see a king or prince giving up their mantle for any kind of humility? When do you see someone who was born to rule actually value things like positivity and true commitment to their people? Most of the time, ruling is just business. There is no way someone who lives in a mansion would give it up to go to the slum and work for a minimum wage. The easier, the better. But with every moment Akeem spends in Queens, we can see that he is not relying on his title or position for an easy way out. He is a hustler every step of the way. Next on our list is lesson number 2. Lesson 2, laziness and complacency can drown you. There are so many jobs out there that no matter how important they are, they still receive little to no respect. While some people might want to do the job because they need the money, others will refuse to do it because they think it is beneath them. Akeem was in it for the win. He didn't care if society considered it lowly work. He always did his best, mopping the floor and taking out the garbage. He didn't want to let himself down. Even Lisa noticed it.
You know, you're a very unusual guy. I've never seen anybody take so much pride in mopping a floor.
He who would learn to fly one day must first learn to stand and walk.
You see, it is hard to compartmentalize excellence. If you are lazy or complacent in one area of your life, like school or work, that attitude can spread to other areas, like hobbies and personal relationships. But if you work hard and have a positive attitude in one area, then you can boost your performance and motivation in other areas too. Hard work is what helps you excel in the tasks that you are given. You can notice how Akeem switches from this gullible and nice worker to a highly attentive and fully focused person capable of taking down a robber. When a man with a shotgun enters the restaurant, Akeem carefully assesses the situation and doesn't back down. He turned a difficult situation into another opportunity by showing force and bravery at the right time. This is how he took down the intruder. Because he saved the restaurant, he got a chance to work at a party at Lisa's house. This helped him get closer to the woman of his dreams. The more he excelled in the small tasks, the bigger his opportunities became. This is a lesson you can take in multiple aspects of your life. Most of us like to stay in this little world we create, our comfort zone. It is safer and more secure, so we don't want to challenge ourselves. We like to be complacent because it makes us smug and static. It is what makes us feel lazy and unambitious. We decide to do nothing and accept whatever comes our way. Now, let me make this clear. Laziness and complacency are two different things. We are lazy when we choose not to do something. We can do it, but we are unwilling to put in the effort to succeed. The thing about complacency is that we are very satisfied with the condition we put ourselves in. We can literally convince ourselves that nothing needs to be done. It is a different mentality. Here, you create a sense of comfort within whatever it is you are doing. Most of us don't have a clue that we are complacent until it's too late. Not many people consciously decide to become complacent. But whether that situation you are in makes you truly happy, now that's up for debate. Akeem never allowed himself to be lazy or complacent. He had a strong direction and a suitable reward system that made him find the things he did to be pleasant. He was focused on his attitude and personal growth. This helped him keep his dreams alive, because without dreams, he would lose himself. The point is, don't be the ant. Don't run and hide behind other ants. Your goals, dreams, and targets should scare you. They should scare you enough that you stop pressing the snooze button every time. Akeem never let himself be distracted by the outside world. He kept chasing and working for what he believed in. What we can learn from this is that you should do everything you do in life for your own sake. You see, life is like a train ride. People will get off at any stop. Just know that when people leave, it is not a reflection on you. It is a reflection on them. Not everyone will be willing to make the whole trip with you, and that's okay. Be very grateful to everyone who is on that journey with you. Next on our list is lesson number 3. Lesson 3. Tender naivety can be a blessing and a curse. Being naive is not the same as innocence. It is the same as being sheltered and trusting that someone's intentions are always good. You could have a PhD and still be naive. Prince Akeem is a perfect example of that. He is highly educated, trained, and brought up in so much luxury that he remains almost alienated from the outside world. He wants nothing except a wife who will love and adore him in spite of the money around him. His tender naivety gives him a fresh perspective. It allows him to see the beauty in everyday life that everyone else gets to overlook. He appreciates the simplicity of a small apartment with random things, which is a sharp contrast to his opulent life in Zamunda. He likes the messy streets and back alleys. He is fine with the dirt and slush on the streets. He is flabbergasted by the trash people throw from their balconies. He doesn't need to worry about all the fancy clothes he brought with him. Themi, on the other hand, hates it. He can't wait to go back home and live an easy life. He hates the thought of the slum, which makes this journey all the more draining for him. He is more pragmatic and cynical. Akeem is trusted, too trusted, but his genuine nature is what helps him make an authentic connection with Lisa. He is kind, loving, and smart. He is capable of opening up to Lisa and building a strong emotional connection with her. He enjoys that, talking with her and living an everyday life. He is enticed by it all, which is why he looks at the whole trip as this big adventure. But being naive can also be a bad thing. It is dangerous to be naive. He is unaware of the world and people's intentions. He doesn't think about the fact that he could get robbed, stabbed, or taken advantage of. In a childlike way, he lacks the deep and abstract thought of a situation. The fact that people can swindle him out of his money and how he can't really tell when someone is being fake. This lack of preparedness puts him at a disadvantage as he tries to navigate his new environment. But because he is so bent on finding real love, he becomes that fake person instead. He hides his true identity from Lisa. So when it all blows up, Lisa starts to doubt everything he ever said to her, everything he did. She started questioning him. Of course, she needed time to process the information, to process the fact that he came from royal blood. And although it all worked out in the end, all the conflict, tension, and mishaps showed us a clash between Akeem's idealism and the brutal reality. Next on our list is lesson number 4 with lesson 4. It's okay to be skeptical about a relationship. Remember the club scene? So Akeem got the devil worshiper, Joan of Arc, the BMW lady, the beatbox twins, the lady who needed overtime in the bedroom, the nymphomaniac, the woman who couldn't stop talking, and Arsenio Hall dressed up as a woman. Is this what Akeem's father warned him about? Do you know what the irony is? This is exactly what the dating scene looks like right now. Most dating has a low success rate. Any dating method that brings strangers together so they can talk for a little, like grab a coffee or something, is very difficult to succeed because most people are not compatible. Think about 30 to 40 people who are the same age as you and come from a similar background. How many of them do you think would be interested in having a committed long-term relationship? Yes, online dating makes it easier to filter people, but that doesn't mean that your potential partner will like the same thing you do. It is absolutely fine to be skeptical about a person. This is literally what dating is for. The more you get to know a person, the easier it is to determine whether you are compatible with each other. You should be worried if you don't have any doubts at all. I'm not talking about whether that person has flaws or imperfections. Newsflash, everyone does. I'm talking about determining if those qualities that person has can align with yours. Do they have the same values, morals, or goals in life? Or are they simply not worth the hassle? If you ever become skeptical, believe it. This is your gut telling you to rethink and evaluate your surroundings. You need to learn to balance and understand your feelings and choose to remove yourself from any situation or a person who doesn't serve you. For Akeem, starting off a relationship is a lot like planting a seed, but he can't know for sure how that seed is going to grow. So he poses as an average guy to seek out a worthy American woman. When he enters the club, you can hear the song I Got It playing in the background. It is Eddie Murphy's song from his album So Happy, but the speed dating session ends in a complete disaster. That's because even if the women were attractive, they were just not on the same page. Their values, interests, social, and conversational skills, they were all on a different level. They would never make a good match. The point is, don't try to impress your partner. Listen and be observant of your partner. That's what Akeem is doing. It may sound counterintuitive, but it works. Anyone in his place would brag about themselves and their social status. Akeem did the exact opposite. Our next lesson, coming up at number 5, is Lesson 5. Never forget who you are. Akeem is spoiled, but he is constantly trying to improve himself. His heart is full of love, but it is difficult for him to be selfless because he was raised with a ton of servants at his call. So when he does try to change for the better, he maintains his inner confidence. He always acts like a king, even when he is doing a minimum wage job. He has the confidence and perseverance of a king. The lesson here is, it's best to always maintain our inner confidence, regardless of what life has to throw at us. Take work, for example. Every first job for a lot of graduates has a rough start. Many companies treat their workers based on their job title. There are so many workplaces that are caught up in this bureaucratic dysfunction. They see people as something that is on the bottom of the food chain rather than a person with potential. Akeem is put in this position, but he still carried himself with confidence and dignity. If you have a low-level job, then your superiors are more likely to ignore your ideas because of your position. But don't let that stop you from using your talents. Find other ways to use your skills. Maybe you can start your own business or pursue a different venture. Whatever you do, make sure to channel all your talent and energy into the venture you want to invest in. A move like this could potentially set the foundation for your escape plan. You can use it to move away from your regular job and find something that feels like a better use of your time. Akeem never forgot that he was a prince. Yes, he chose to live in a small place, but he didn't allow himself to be defined by the role that was given to him. He separated his identity from his job task. And sometimes the role you have to do may be the key to getting your main interest. In Akeem's case, that main interest was Lisa. When he dressed up like a poor man but acted as a highly educated individual, Lisa was able to see his real character and spirit. This helped her choose substance over superficiality. If you don't let a person or a job define you, then you will always remember who you are. Akeem didn't let his job and his surroundings affect his self-concept. He always remembered the greatness that was within him. Look at it this way. The past you and the present you are like two footprints on both legs. They complement each other. Life is difficult, yes, but never dwell on the hard moments. There are times when we should focus on the path that lies ahead, just like Akeem did. Next is lesson number 6. Lesson 6. Position yourself for success. When Akeem arrived at Queens, he wanted to find the one, but he quickly realized that a woman like that doesn't fall from a tree. The second he met Lisa, he positioned himself in her proximity. He secured a job at her dad's restaurant just so he could have the opportunity to woo her. The lesson here is, sometimes you need to move where the opportunities are. Being able to move to different places can set you up for success. Once you get there, focus on learning more about the place and the people. This can help you know how to reach your goals. By working at McDowell's, Akeem got a closer look at Lisa's family dynamic, her personality, and interests. He found a unique way to stand out, even if he never cleaned in his life. Opportunities like these won't just come to you, you need to make them happen. Then, during McDowell's home party, he was able to learn a lot more. When he was invited over to serve the guests champagne, Akeem was shocked to find out that the party itself was turned into a surprise engagement. Lisa was furious with the whole thing. She didn't like the idea that her father and her boyfriend would plot together to control her life. She didn't want to be pressured into marriage, not by Daryl or anyone in her family. The two bond that night. They both agree that no one should get married out of obligation. It should be a choice based on mutual happiness. They get closer and closer. The first step for positioning yourself for success is deciding what you hope to accomplish. What is it that you desire? Maybe you want to get better at your job or change your career. Maybe you want a fulfilling romantic relationship that brings you joy. Whatever it may be, take time to plan your actions. You should educate yourself, consider your options, and make a conscious decision to move forward. Never keep yourself stuck in an eternal state of limbo. If Akeem listened to his father's advice, he never would have been truly happy. Because from Akeem's perspective, the best form of happiness comes from finding true love and a partner who will always be there for you, grow with you, be proud of you. Moving on to our next lesson is Lesson 7. Never let anyone or anything get in your way. As you grow older, you experience different things. You change. Your values change. Your interests change. Your dreams and priorities change. This is normal. It is very hard to find out exactly what you want because life itself is constantly changing. It is like water, and there is a limit to how much water you can hold in your hands. Change can be difficult, but that doesn't mean it is impossible. Ultimately, your happiness depends on your wants and dreams. We all have a dream, but just a handful of people manage to fulfill that dream. You know what's a real tragedy? When we constantly try to imitate other people, be like them, act like them, follow their choices, their dreams. We never really look on the inside. We only focus on the outside. We let influencers and celebrities cloud our judgment, show us how we should live, act, and behave, while in fact, we never nurture our uniqueness. We just want to fit in. When Akeem decided that Lisa was going to be his future queen, he went to the ends of the earth to pursue her. He didn't let his friends, family, or any obstacles deter him from his goal. Your goal may not be to find the perfect partner, but you too can use this kind of determination that Akeem showed in your life. We see a ton of people who work a 9-to-5 job that they hate just because they've completely given up on their dreams. They settle for comfort and safety rather than gamble with luck and insecurity. But for Akeem, the odds were stacked against him. He had a lot of work to do. Lisa already had a boyfriend. She was busy with work and other activities. But even if the chances for success were pretty slim, Akeem never gave up. He wanted to win her heart. Now, the reason why he was so successful was because he maintained a positive attitude through the whole journey. Even when difficult things happened, like the robber or Lisa's engagement party, Akeem never let anyone dissuade him from his quest. Not only did Akeem give up all his belongings and luxuries when he came to New York, he also knew that this bad position was only temporary. Something in his gut told him that he had to keep going, even though he didn't see any immediate success. He felt the chemistry and the energy the two shared. Somehow, deep down, he knew she was the one. So if you want to succeed, keep your eyes on the prize. Keep going and enjoy every moment of it. Coming up next is an interesting lesson that you probably didn't see, but it is definitely worth mentioning. Lesson 8. It's hard to capture lightning in a bottle. When we talk about catching lightning in a bottle, the lightning is something rare, fleeting, and elusive. Something fundamentally powerful. If you've managed to catch it and hold on to it, the entire world goes, whoa. And that's the goal. That's the job. For Akeem, we can see this happening in 3 ways. 1, his quest for true love. 2, starting from scratch. 3, navigating cultural differences. 4, maintaining his integrity and humility. In New York, he is looking for that one in a million, that perfect woman that would make an excellent royal. She is passionate, driven, and always eager to help her dad manage the business. He is attractive, level-headed, and kind. Most importantly, she is modest and always tries to see beyond material things. She always reassures Akeem that he shouldn't care about his socioeconomic status. Instead, he should focus on his values and treat Lisa as an equal. The real challenge here is Daryl. She has, pretty much, been dating this guy for a while. He is an obnoxious heir to the Soul Glow hair product empire and has a ton of money, but he is controlling and deceitful. Akeem manages to win Lisa's heart, but to do that, he must go incognito. In the end, Lisa refuses to please other people's desires and maintains her independence. What she sees in Akeem is a kindred spirit who also struggles to choose between his duty and his heart. To win her over and blend in, Akeem has to learn about the cultural differences between Zamunda and Queens. He has to adapt and thrive in a completely different environment. But with every challenge, he shows that he is open-minded and eager for change. He doesn't mind a hard task. He sees it as an achievement. Throughout his entire journey, he remains humble and true to himself. He is true to his values and principles. Coming up next is lesson number 9. Lesson 9. Home is where your heart is. Where do you think you can find your happy place? That comfort zone? Home is where we should feel loved and protected, where we can truly be ourselves. But that doesn't necessarily mean a four-walled space. You see, our king was born in a palace. He had everything, but deep down, there was still something missing. What's interesting about Akeem is that he knows that his father is unfaithful to his wife. The king even admitted it, but Akeem still believes in true love. He believes he can find that one person to spend his life with, one person who can make life worth living. To him, home isn't a palace. It is not the servants keeping everything in place. Home is much more than a house. To Akeem, it is a family, a best friend, and a place where he can build memories. A story that not only can he retell to others, but also remember all the intricate details over the years because they are worth remembering. He wants someone who will make him feel loved and cherished, someone who would accept his flaws and not agree to marry him because of his status. He wants to enjoy the simple things in life. It takes a while for him to convince his parents about the path he wants to take, but eventually they warm up to him and he does get exactly what he wants. This brings us to the last lesson for this video, and that is Lesson 10, life is about the journey. For Akeem, life is just not about reaching a destination. It's about the experiences and lessons he gained along the way. One day, he decided to give it all a break and go on an adventure so that he could develop and evolve as a person. He took apart everything that he was taught and came back a happier man. There were plenty of ups and downs in his journey, but he stayed happy and faithful to his goal. The whole thing was kind of like a road trip of self-discovery, learning stuff about the world and the different people, and understanding how to make friends in a world that doesn't woo you. But when life surprises him with different things, problems, and shattered dreams, he is able to get back up and keep on going. Akeem had a lot of simple things on his bucket list, from getting dressed by himself to wiping his own backside. But ultimately, every little thing to him mattered. The challenges he faced when he pursued Lisa tested his courage and resolve. Along the way, he stumbled on a lot of obstacles, especially Daryl. He was a true rival, but never quite worthy of Lisa. So Akeem was able to get Lisa on his side and leave Daryl in the dust. When eventually Akeem tells Lisa that he is the Prince of Zamunda, Lisa freaks out. She is furious and confused as to why he had to lie to her. She then refused to marry Akeem, and the prince returned to his kingdom with a broken heart. He was getting ready to marry the woman his parents arranged for him, only to find out that his bride-to-be waiting for him at the altar was actually Lisa. The wedding was marvelous. The bride looked stunning in her pink sparkly gown, but the second Akeem lays eyes on her, he goes in for the kiss. Even though they didn't get to that part yet, the two just couldn't get their hands off each other. The king and queen are satisfied with their son's happiness. They sit beside him full of pride. The couple then ride off in a carriage and enjoy the rest of their lives together. Just because you are born into something better doesn't mean you've learned all your life lessons. If we don't focus on ourselves and work on ourselves, we will keep making the same mistakes. That's why it is so important not to take every opportunity for granted. We should work toward our goals, no matter how hard they will be or how long they will take. What did you guys think about the lessons in the movie? Did you find anything interesting that wasn't mentioned on this list? Or maybe there is a lesson you don't agree with. Share your thoughts in the comments. We would love to know what you think. If you enjoyed this documentary, then I'm sure you'll love the one we did on the hidden warnings in the TV show Mark. Click the video on the screen to watch it now. We'll see you over there.